What's going on, people? We're back with another episode of the Review Podcast. I'm so sorry if I keep looking off center because this game is going on in the background and it keeps catching my attention. But we're back for another episode of the Review Podcast. Today we've got three new topics for you. Three main topics for you, and obviously we're going to go into the marquee matchup segment, which we all know that the big game this weekend was Manchester City versus Liverpool. But we're going to get into that later. But before we jump into that, how's everyone feeling? How's everyone doing today? We're about to hit another international break. Let's remember that. So if your team performed poorly today, you have to hold it for the next 2 weeks.
Apart from that goal, well, you know.
What minute's the Arsenal game in?
Just about to go half time, I think.
Yeah, we're approaching half time, so like 43, 44, around there. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna go straight into the topics. We're gonna discuss what we've got today. And again, if you guys have been with us, and that's actually something that I'll mention now. Every week before we jump on this podcast on a Sunday, we drop the topics that we're going to be talking about. Usually on the Sunday, sometimes it can be the day before. But the main topics that we're going to be discussing, just so you can look ahead with us, you can head over to @RevealFooty on Twitter, and we normally drop the topics on there before we start every week. Anyone that joins, again, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The comment part is where we really want to hear what you guys think. We really want to see, obviously, what your thoughts are. But let's move on. We're going straight to the first topic that we've got today. And I know this is something that a lot of people have been burning, especially Sam and Felix, and like they've been burning to talk about this. And I think we've debated it a lot, but we decided to bring it out today to talk about it a little bit further. And topic number one is that question right there. Is Lacazette done at the top level? Now, you don't usually know that I usually ask questions with this one, but I'm not going to be asking. I think I'm actually going to jump into the discussion with this one because there's a lot to discuss. But I'm just going to throw it out there first. I'll send it off to one person. I'll send it off to Felix first. And then after that, we'll just jump in and we'll go straight to the discussion. And again, guys, let us know what you think in the comments. And we'll have a look at that as the stream goes on. So is Lacazette done at the top level, Felix? I'm handing it to you first.
I don't think it's a question that you can just answer straight yes or no. For me, anyway, you can't answer straight yes or no because on one hand, you look at it. I mean, for me, as you already know, Kirk, for me, like I said, is one of my favorite players. So I'm trying to be impartial with my my answer here. He's a player that I've always enjoyed, even before he joined Arsenal. So him joining Arsenal, you can tell. Obviously, I was excited for him to be here, and in the first, I think it's been 3-4 years now. In the first few years of his arrival, of course, the excitement was there. Numbers wise, I can't actually remember how many goals he got in his first season, but
I have a look for you.
Yeah, check that for me. But yeah, for me, the excitement was there. So I don't think I really paid attention to how many goals he scored. Every time I saw him in the Arsenal kit, I was just excited because I knew what he could offer, and I knew from what I knew of him, obviously when he was in French football, he was going to offer a lot. So I guess maybe the question has come, obviously, in recent years, maybe last season or two, where his numbers hasn't necessarily been up to par for a striker. Now, obviously, the argument could be he's not being utilized in a way where you can show his strengths, or it's the system that we're playing, or the system we played prior to Arteta, or maybe under Emery, even under Wenger in some games as well, may have not necessarily suited him, so his numbers won't have hit the likes of an Aubameyang per se. So it's in that regard, if you want to look at it strictly on statistics, then you would think no, because obviously if you look at his numbers over the years, it has gotten less and less and less as the years have gone on in terms of his goals and his goal contributions. So in that regard, yes. But if you actually watch him play, then you still see that he's still got qualities of a top striker. He still has that striker's instinct, getting into the box, getting into space to have a shot away. His his shots and his conversion rate has maybe been below par, I'd say, recently. It looks like I'm just beating around the bush, aren't I? I'm just going around. But I'd say there's a lot. I feel like he hasn't necessarily, maybe in recent years, hit the heights that a lot of Arsenal fans have expected of him to reach in terms of his contributions, in terms of mostly in terms of goals. Because as a striker, that's what you're in the team for. So in that regard, no. Yeah, yes, sorry. He's I feel like he may be not as sharp as he once was.
I think the argument for Lacazette, a lot of the time, a lot of people seem to want to discuss goals. A lot of people want to talk about, whether or not he's doing what he's been brought into the team for. And again, we know that we've spoken about this many times. I'm going to hand over to Sam because I know you've got a lot on your mind when it comes to Lacazette. You've got a lot of arguments. Some, whether it's valid or not, that's not really for me to decide. But it's obviously you've got a lot of you've got a lot of points when it comes to. No. I'm not saying it's valid or invalid. That's not for me to decide. I'm just saying I know he's got a lot of thoughts on the player himself. So I'm just gonna hand over to Sam. Ask Sam really that question. As Felix said, it's not really something that you can say yes or no to, but I'm sure you can bring arguments to suggest that maybe he is or maybe he's not.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try to pace myself because I don't want to be too biased in it. All right. Cool. Do I think he finished at the top level? I don't know. That one there, I'm 50-50. Do I think he's good enough to play for Arsenal? No. I think his time at Arsenal's done. And like you were saying before, Lacazette, he works hard, and I rate that so much. That's what I love about him. He's always getting himself into good positions, fighting for the ball. It's really difficult to take the ball off him, but he's not doing what he's been brought in to do. And I think that's an important factor because you can't have a goalkeeper, for example. Goalkeepers nowadays are being told to play out the back, pass to defenders, basically become an outfield player. Imagine a goalkeeper like that, but doesn't make any saves. You see what I'm saying? You're not genuinely doing the job that you've been brought in to do. And for me, Lacazette doesn't score enough goals for Arsenal. Like, one of the main talking points is that a lot of people love to get at Eddie Nketiah, yeah? Cool. Eddie Nketiah is 21 years old, and he's scored 3 goals this season, the same as Lacazette. So they're both top goal scorers at Arsenal. And at 21 years old, Lacazette scored, 5 goals in the French league after 28 games? I'm just like, cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a massive difference there. Like, for me, I just don't think he's good enough. He puts in the work, but he just doesn't produce what we need to produce. And there's been loads of time. Don't get twisted. There's been loads of players that have had frustrating moments at Arsenal. Like, I'm not just gonna dig him out. Do you know what I mean? Even Aubameyang's had L's at Arsenal. Do you see what I'm saying? But for me, I just don't see it working out. It's pretty much kind of the same situation that people are complaining about Bobby Firmino at Liverpool. I think Lacazette works a bit harder, but it's still kind of the same situation there. He's doing everything else, but you're not scoring, and we need those goals. Like, think about the times, even in that, what was that? Our first Europa League game. I know we won that game, but say, we were 1-0 down and Lacazette, when he was clear on goal, didn't go and finish. It would have been a massive problem. And I think it's happening too often, fam. I don't think he's reliable as a goal scorer.
Again, as I said, it's a point that everyone has made, and I can agree with that. If I'm honest with you, I think the main thing I've always said, I'm not as much as Felix said. Lacazette has been one of my favorite players even before he came to Arsenal. And again, I'm gonna try my hardest not to be biased with anything either. But I can agree with that. I don't think he scores enough goals, even in this season. In previous seasons, I don't think he scores enough goals. The thing that gets me is just that I think the player does come under a lot of stick, and I think it's way too much stick. In my opinion, I think it's way too much stick. And we look at obviously Lacazette being in the Arsenal team. We know he transferred to Arsenal in the 2017-18 season. Ended the season with 14 goals in 32 appearances, give or take. Moving on to the next season, ironically, I believe it was either the 2017-18 season. I'll give it a check again. It was either the 2018-17-18 season or the 2018-19 season where he won Arsenal Player of the Year. scoring goals. As I said, as I've mentioned before, he scored goals against teams like Liverpool, scored goals against teams like Tottenham, scored goals against Chelsea. Important goals that Arsenal needed for that season. Of course, we still didn't finish in the top four, but him as a player was, he was still instrumental at the time. And looking at his career right now as a whole, he's played 104. Just to put this in there for anyone who kind of wants to make it, any further comments after, he's played 104 appearances, and this is just Premier League stats anyway. 104 appearances and 40 goals and 16 assists, which means in 104 appearances he's been directly linked with 56 goals, give or take. That Arsenal scored within his 104 Premier League appearances. Is it a terrible return? I don't know. That's open to an interpretation. One might say that for a striker is not great. And another person might say that for whatever position he plays, he might be doing all right. One thing I've always said about Lacazette for me is, and if you rewind the time, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even before he arrived at Arsenal, I would have said the exact same thing. Lacazette for me has never been a main out and out striker up front on his ones, like getting you 30 goals a season. Lacazette has never been that type of player. And I would have told you this years ago. For me, I've always said Lacazette is your perfect second striker. Funny enough, recently, the thing that got me thinking a lot was I was watching a video on AFTV. And it's one of AFTV's new, the new guys anyway. I think his name is James B. He generally does like the tactical stuff, so big up to him on AFTV. But he kind of talks about, he gives a lot of tactical insights. And I remember, I think it may have been after the Man U game, or may have been after the Rapid Vienna game, or maybe Dundalk. It might have been Dundalk actually, Europa League game a few weeks back. And he was mentioning and talking about Lacazette as a striker, and talking about one thing that I've actually said over the weeks as well, that the thing that I feel like maybe it doesn't work for Lacazette at the moment is the fact that the system that he's being played in is a bit of a tricky one. Obviously, he's being put in the team to do a job, but it's a bit of a tricky one because now with the system he plays in, it's almost as though he has to come into the middle of the park. His back is to go a lot of the time. He has to hold the ball up. He has to try and bring other people in. And for me, and even he went forward to mention it in the interview on AFTV at the time, Lacazette has never been that type of striker. He's that sort of like instinctive, gets into dangerous areas, finds his way into all of those areas. And currently with the way Arsenal play, he can't actually do that because he's being brought in to do a specific job. Yes, having said that as well, I can understand the fact that he has had chances and he has not put them in the back of the net when he gets those chances. There's been chances where, perhaps maybe an open goal or maybe cross in or anything like that. He had his wide. He has had chances. And as for that one, I'll hold my hand up. But for people to talk about Lacazette as if the entire time he's been an Arsenal player, it hasn't worked. He's been whack. He hasn't done anything. Again, him actually even playing through Arsenal's worst period, where the entire team wasn't doing well, and because he wasn't getting the goals that people thought that we needed in order to take us forward to win more games or anything. And let's deep that the entire team wasn't playing well. But then I honestly felt like he was being scapegoated as if this guy hasn't shown his quality at his time at Arsenal, which I think is totally wrong. Having said that as well, I think about the current Arsenal system and the way they play. And I see, for us, we talk about in Arteta, no one's actually mentioned this, but obviously we all talk about the amount of trust we have for Arteta, the amount of, we trust him if he's got a system, if he wants to play like this, if he wants to play like that, because he's earned that trust with the cup that he's won in the short space of time that he came here. And I was saying this to Felix earlier on in the day. I said to him that, Arteta's not stupid. Obviously, everyone's been calling for Alba to play up top. Everyone's been saying, why won't Alba play up top? Why won't Alba play up top? He's not stupid. If that was genuinely what was needed, I mean, look what he's done with Ozil. If he talks about footballing reasons, and if it really was footballing reasons, if that's genuinely what was needed for Arsenal, for Alba to play up top, for us to go to the next level, he would do it. He would easily drop Lacazette, put Lacazette on the bench, drop Lacazette, and put Aubameyang where everyone feels like Aubameyang needs to be. But I always think of a football 11 whenever you're going into a game as like a system or maybe even like a house. If one area isn't working, then the whole thing could crumble. And I see with Arteta, what he's doing is he's put Lacazette in there to play a certain way and to play a certain system that could work for the entire team. And I think that's the reason why you see Lacazette playing week in, week out. If he was that poor and he wasn't offering anything, and just because he's not scoring goals, he would be completely removed from the team, because at the end of the day, that's just useless. As Sam, you mentioned earlier, if you've got a striker or a goalkeeper who's doing everything else but making saves, it's useless. And if Lacazette literally offered nothing else, then, obviously he's not offering goals and he offered nothing else, then it doesn't make sense to play such a player. But at this present moment, I think about it and I look on it, I think, yes, he's not scoring goals. But with the way and the system that Arteta is trying to play, look at the amount of goals that Aubameyang scored from that left-hand side. I'm thinking about it, and there's certain things that go on in football. Managers make certain decisions, because to the layman, we're just football fans. We're armchair supporters. We see this and we want this. We see that and we want that. But, Arteta's the one going into his room all the time, or his office, drafting tactics, writing things down, seeing how things can work. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, with the way Arsenal played, like you're looking at the first goal that Arsenal scored, or the first goal that Aubameyang scored at the beginning of the season, with the whole Tierney and Maitland-Niles run in that allowed Aubameyang to then cut in and score, and how it was mirrored from the Liverpool goal. And I'm thinking, these are all systems. He's playing a system. It's like a system that, it kind of invites other people to score. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, yes, Lacazette isn't scoring goals. And Aubameyang has been scoring goals. We don't see it, but do you not think that perhaps the reason why Aubameyang on the left-hand side is scoring goals is because of something that maybe Lacazette or someone else is doing in the system that Arteta is trying to play? That's how I see it. That's how I look at it. And I know he hasn't been quality. His quality hasn't been great. He hasn't been scoring goals. And for that aspect, when he gets the chance, I feel like he needs to put it in the back of the net. But my two main points is, one, I feel like there's a lot of things that as football fans we don't see. We don't always see. And the second thing is, two, I honestly feel as though to talk about Lacazette as if he hasn't offered anything since joining Arsenal in the years he's been there, I think that's a farce. I personally do not agree with that at all. But those are my points. Those are the main points that I wanted to make. Don't know if anyone else has anything to say.
Way to be impartial.
Well, of course. This is what I'm saying. No. But I'm not saying that anybody has said that. I'm not saying that anybody here has said that. But I'm talking about the arguments I've heard.
This is why I feel, because obviously a lot of fans throw the abuse and the criticism out when games are going on and emotions are high and players are not delivering and stuff like that. So yeah, you will get those kind of reactions from fans, and I feel like it comes with the game. So for me, it's like the criticism and stuff. I'm sure the players they've heard it all their lives. So I feel like a lot of these things they don't necessarily take it to heart, but some of them anyway. But obviously, the question that is put out there is he done, like, obviously, is he done at the top level in terms of what he's producing, like for his position? For me, I feel like regardless of what system he's being played in, if you get a chance and if you get a number of chances and you're not able to convert a good percentage of those chances, then you sort of have to ask the question of, are you not as sharp as you used to be? Because a lot of the chances we've seen Lacazette miss, not just this season, but so in certain matches as well, he may not have put it away. And a younger Lacazette, or maybe a Lacazette of a couple of seasons ago, probably would have ripped the net.
I know many people that will disagree, but carry on.
Can I just input there, please? Because I remember Kirk was mentioning that how Lacazette's not the type of player to get you like 30 goals a season, yeah. But in his last 3 seasons in Lyon, yeah, I know it's the French league, but in his last 3 seasons at Lyon, let me put it again. Sorry, third to last he scored 27. Second to last he scored 21. First and then last he scored 28. That to me is somebody that's capable of scoring, 30 goals a season. And like for me, I don't know what's happened. The season where he broke onto the scene, yeah, he scored 15 league goals in the French league, but hasn't been able to score 15 Premier League goals in a season. You look at the way Arsenal got rid of Giroud, yeah. For me, Giroud was pretty much doing the exact same thing, holding up the ball, passing to players, getting assists. Giroud was doing the exact same thing.
Even better. Giroud's better than him.
Boy, some people have been saying that. Some people have been.
No, I fully no, Sam. This is the thing, though. This is what I'm saying. I can understand what you're saying, but with me and in this system, this is what I'm saying, that we're talking about. Giroud does that thing better. He probably does. I can't lie to you. He does that system better, but that's not him. The point I've made for so long is that that's not Lacazette. Lacazette isn't a hold-up player. He shouldn't be.
When he was playing under Emery, he didn't play a hold-up position, bro, and he was still.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he was whack, because what I mentioned is that if he was that bad, then him winning Arsenal Player of the Season wouldn't have happened.
I'm not gonna lie. That year, bro, not many players played that well. Not many players. If it was that what was it? That 18-19 season, that was the season before Emery left, when we lost 4-1 in the Europa League. No, that was the season that Emery left. But regardless of whether or not no player played well, because even at that time I remember Aubameyang was scoring goals as well. Aubameyang was still in the team at the time, and he was scoring goals as well. And I feel like there were other people who perhaps could have done that. And this is what I'm saying. For me, I can fully agree. I'm not deluded. Lacazette should be scoring more. He should be.
You saying bring back Emery?
I've held my hand up. And said that Lacazette should be scoring more. But for me, I honestly preferred him in the Emery. I'm not saying bring back Emery, not at all. But I preferred him in the Emery system, because I saw a lot more back then. And, the argument can be made by whether he's lost fitness or whether he's lost sharpness, as Felix said. Maybe he has. Who knows the impact that the injury he had last season had on him. Every player is a different player, and maybe he has lost sharpness. But for me, I just don't like, when you look at like a certain thing, or you look at a certain player, and as I said, obviously Sam would say that obviously the entire time he's been here. I'm not saying that you're saying that he's whack, but you would probably think that he hasn't been that great. He hasn't lived up to expectation. He hasn't shown, and that's fair. That's completely fair. To have an opinion like that. But for me, the thing that I look at is the fact that I feel like he has shown quality in the time he's been there. He has shown quality, and he has shown quality in some very important moments.
I can agree with that, definitely.
You got someone saying I disagree.
if you're not doing the job, we don't know what his actual job is, isn't it? Like, we don't know what the gaffer's saying to him in the change room before the game. I want you to do this, I want you to do this, I want you to run a thing, I want you to run a thing. If you're not doing the job, you don't play. If you're missing clear-cut chances, you don't play. So I don't think he's finished at the top level, but I don't know if he's an Arsenal player.
And that's I think that's fair. That's a fair thing to make. But for me, that's why I keep saying
also,
that.
I've just watched him give the ball away. So
that's why I keep saying that. I'm not gonna lie. There's many people in this team giving the ball away today. I don't know why they're playing so badly, but that's what I'm saying. That for me as well. I don't know, and I don't know if anyone will agree. But there's a reason why he plays week in, week out, and it's not because Arteta likes him or he's got Arteta's nudes or anything like that. That's what I'm saying.
But see, this is the thing though.
It's like at Manchester every week as well, bro.
What was that?
There's a fridge playing at Manchester every week as well.
Yeah, that one there, I think it's because of price tag.
That's what I'm saying, because it's crazy though, because I can ask that same question with Harry Maguire. Not so much he's finished at the top level, but is he good enough to play for United? And if not, why the hell is he playing every week?
Do you know what it is? I think with Maguire, I don't think anyone made the point that whether he's good or bad enough to play for Man U. I think everyone's point is that he was a waste of £80 million. I think that's what everyone is saying. Whether he's good enough or bad enough, for me, that's not to judge. But
so do you think he'd be able to get away with his crimes if he didn't cost so much? Not his crimes.
Possibly. Honestly, I think the 80 million attaches quite a lot to it, and it makes it another level of pain. I think we might be able, oh my gosh, we almost conceded again. Yeah, it brings another level of pain. But yeah, has anyone got any more points? Again, guys, anyone watching, just drop a comment on what you think about this subject. Is like he is, and he's been missing. That's how you know. The entire team there, he's been missing.
You know what? Also about Lacazette, they're saying he's stressed because how are you balding? How are you balding? I think the chance just came up. My stream must be slow. But yeah, man, how are you balding that? The North
Yeah,
London's no joke, man.
I miss Trim
North
Lacazette. I'm not gonna lie,
London's
he hasn't had a trim in a long time. But I feel I can second Ralph on that one. He is bowling so rapidly and it's so peak, bro.
I'm telling you now, if you're still playing in France, he'd have Afro. Same trim as William.
Well, so you're saying the stresses of living in the UK?
Yeah, just playing football in the Premier League is not a joke.
I want to
Anyway,
hear from the point of view though, Rue, because Rue is
go on,
Rue,
Rue.
Rue, what do you think about the comparison with Firmino?
Oh my William.
Do you know what? I don't want to step on that landmine by throwing Firmino into it because we all know where that could end up because of the whole he's a defensive striker. That's a mess. I think you lot are being quite harsh on Lacazette, but like I am not. Bro, things like that.
I was waiting for him to see that.
No, he's not finished. I will get to that. I think you lot are being really harsh on Lacazette. Is he finished at the top level? Absolutely not. I think Arteta has clearly got a system and a way of playing, but I don't think it allows Lacazette to be the player he is. But then my first wonder is, who do Arsenal fans want if they have to get their ideal sort of striker to be in Lacazette's position and out of anyone? Because I'm like you lot rip at this like vultures, but who would you then see as your ideal replacement if you think he's not good enough for Arsenal? Because I don't know.
Some people would want to see Giroud come back.
Hey, would you bring on what's his name? Raul Jimenez?
I'd bring Jimenez into Arsenal. I would bring in because I think he's quality. I do. But do you look at it in this way? Exactly after what Rue said now. Do you not think, especially in this system now, because imagine if we were to play Aubameyang up top in this current system we're playing. So what, would Aubameyang now have to switch and play Lacazette's role, do the holding up, do this, and would that allow him enough time in front of goal?
No, I don't think Arteta would make Aubameyang do that.
But then if he was to play Aubameyang up top in that role, then don't you think that means that the entire system now has to change?
Yeah, because he's a different type of player.
And that's what I'm saying. That exactly.
But then the thing is, I don't think the argument necessarily is whether or not Lacazette or Aubameyang fits the system. Because for me, yes, it is the system is affecting his style of play. But as well as that, the chances that he has gotten or has been through one-on-one with, you would expect a player of his quality to be able to at least convert more than he has done. I think that's where, well, for me, my argument is anyway, whether or not he may not be as sharp as he once was.
Yeah, I'm the same as Felix as well, because like I was saying, he works hard, he gets himself into good attacking positions, but there's been times that we need this guy to finish off, like, and it's just not happening.
I've just got a whole season of wanting for me to get to a decent attacking position and then him failing to do it. It took him a whole game to actually score a home goal, and we still won the league. It's frustrating, but like sometimes like that's kind of worrying if you're really desperately relying on him to improve his finishing when there's other players in the team who can, because look, we had a striker who's supposed to be the designated number 9 who's supposed to fill that role. It took him a whole season until the final home game to get a home goal, and look at what the efforts of the others around him are doing. There's too much of an over-reliance on a number 9 for you to sit there and worry about Lacazette's finishing rate.
Understandable.
There's plenty of options who can score a goal in your team. Midfield, Aubameyang, the lot. So to rely on Lacazette to be everything, to be the definition of Arteta at Arsenal, really?
There's been some other players, like Aubameyang's been really shocking going forward this season. Pepe's still not delivering. There's other players, but we're just talking about Laca right now, innit? So that's why. Other players.
But honestly speaking, I would not see.
If we want to have a conversation about Arsenal's attack, then we would discuss other players.
I honestly don't think I'd see anyone put as much energy into anybody else than Lacazette. If I'm honest, as in terms of who's playing.
How can you be so critical? Is that who hasn't really done anything?
What was that? Repeat that.
How can you be so critical of Lacazette when you've got Pepe, £72 million, and yet for 72 million, I feel like he's done about the equivalent of about 2 million.
Do you know what? Let me jump
That's
in.
a
Let me
different
jump in. That's
conversation.
going to be a topic for another day. Definitely, we put that in your back pocket. We'll be talking about that on another day. But we have spent half an hour on Lacazette so far. It's mad. We'll go. Let's move on to the next question, which we've got. We'll try and zoom in the rest of this as much as we can, so we can give Rue his ranting time with the marquee matchup segment this time round.
I said, also shows off his stats and his feet.
He won this.
Sam, that's one of your boys, isn't it? Go pat him.
Salah and Mane won that. No one else.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic. A quick one, which is what happened to Danny Welbeck. This is one that I kind of thought up as the week was going on, because I think it was Friday they played, and I realized, well, not that I realized, but I remembered actually while watching the game that he actually plays for Brighton now. And just before that, he played for Watford. And it's just an unfortunate turn of events for Danny Welbeck, because at one point, you know, Ferguson thought he had found himself an absolute gem, and I'm sure United fans thought the same. Back in 20, I'm remembering back to when Arsenal beat Manchester United beat Arsenal 8-2. Welbeck was actually a part of the scoring at the time, I believe. And at the time they thought they'd found himself a gem. He was actually performing in the Champions League as well. But it just seems as though that things haven't just come together for him, and it never really did. I think I'll go to Ralph first. Danny Welbeck, when you hear that name, what comes to mind?
High top. No, you know what? He had a little spell where he was doing bits for Arsenal, innit? He was doing a Mazzoline. Remember that? Was it that header he scored to win against Leicester?
Galatasaray.
I was starting to have a bit of faith in that Danny Welbeck could be our 30 number 9, maybe help us do a bit in the league, but I don't know what happened, because based on sort of his expectations, say from the start when he was at Manchester United, you would have expected him to sort of follow the type of career path that maybe just one of those players that ends up scoring 150 goals in the Premier League. But the reason that has happened, I have no idea. He obviously got injured. He got that proper bad injury.
A couple, yeah.
But I don't know, to be honest. To be real, I don't have nothing bad to say about him except just get a trim.
Yeah, no. To be honest, you gotta love Welbeck anyway. He's such a nice lad. So I don't know if Sam you remember, but the BOA was last year.
Would you rather have him now? Would you rather have him now than Lacazette?
Nah.
Peak Welbeck.
I wouldn't.
Bro,
he never really had a peak. If I'm honest with you.
Oh,
Welbeck, his stats are absolutely shocking.
Yeah, and you wouldn't.
And that one think he was that talking about Arsenal was probably like three games.
Yeah. So we said he just had one.
I remember
a specific moment.
Specific
vitality player of the month
of Danny Welbeck. Obviously, goal against Leicester, then a goal against United in the FA Cup, and then the hat trick he scored against Galatasaray in the Champions League.
That's pretty much
of Danny Welbeck. Like, I don't think he was ever a top striker. Like, he had potential, because obviously, bro, you don't play for Fergie if you don't have potential in it. That's how it works.
Even Lingard, like.
Yeah, even Lingard. You could even argue that Lingard had a better United career, but but definitely. I think it was the injuries that probably messed him up. And then obviously, when he moved to Arsenal, you can have the argument and say that, Arsenal's mentality was probably a little bit weaker than United, because I think for United, maybe the standards were a little bit higher, innit? So coming from there, being told that you're not going to be my plans anymore, coming to Arsenal, I think he just got sucked into everything that was going on there, because we were not good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Gianni Wenger being calm to everybody.
Yeah, we were still finishing top 4. I think he's got FA Cup with us.
Yeah, he must have. The year we beat United, we won the FA Cup that year. So he got injured, I believe. I think he got injured before the final, so he didn't really take part. But I suppose he got a medal, so yeah, he got an FA Cup, I guess.
But yeah, I think just something happened between that period when he's just like, it just wasn't working out for him, man. He was even on our options then was what, like Giroud up
Giroud, it was him.
And
that was it mainly.
Yeah, Giroud would.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing with Welbeck. It's like I remember when we first signed him, when the announcement came that we had signed Danny Welbeck. I feel like all Arsenal fans had the exact same reaction.
I was literally about to
like,
paint that picture. Yeah, everyone was
okay.
like, "Oh, yeah," because we all wanted a
Not
striker.
quite
I
what
remember.
we need, but do you know what? He didn't look too bad again at United, so we'll see how it goes. I think that's what a lot of Arsenal fans have said. We'll just see how it goes. And
didn't he come in? Didn't he come in and play straight away against Man City?
I can't remember.
Remember where Alexis Sanchez got that volley, no? And he hit the post.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know if that was the first game, but anyway, carry on.
But yeah. So for me, it's like he falls into the bracket of a lot of English players that didn't quite hit the heights that they were like once expected. You got him. You've got players like Lingard. You've got I feel like Walcott even falls into that category. And a lot of other players like that, where two words I can think of really: injuries and consistency. A lot of them really struggled with consistency, and also they were plagued with injuries as well, like pretty serious ones as well. And I think Welbeck. What was his like most lengthy injury? I can't remember,
9 months.
I do know he was out quite a lot, especially
it was 9 months.
9
months was last lesson. Yeah, I'm watching it. I think my eyes were away.
I'm trying to keep one eye on it.
I didn't see it
while I'm talking. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Welbeck that he wasn't really able to keep that consistency going, because every time that I feel like he starts to pick up a bit of form or starts to sort of get a run of games or something, he goes off injured, and then 3-4 weeks, months, sometimes he doesn't quite sort of hit the ground running, and then he has to come back and then pretty much start all over again. So yeah, I feel like it's just been unfortunate for him, really.
I don't know how you dig out Walcott there, but I'll allow you.
No, I fully agree. Fully agree with Welbeck. I think it's just something that just didn't work for him. It's something that just didn't come together. Again, as Felix said, I can understand why he said Walcott, because obviously it's just one of those things of, I don't even think it was consistency. I just don't think he had the run of games to even be consistent. That was the problem. And when things like that happen in someone's football career, like, what really can you do? It's just unfortunate. It's just kind of like Jack Wilshere, really. So much potential, so much sort of like, promise, but nothing really happens. I'm trying to go as quickly as I can. I really want Rue to have all the time in the world to speak about this Man City game. So we're just going to move on quickly to the third topic, which is Callum Wilson at Newcastle. I'm sure this one is going to be a quick one anyway. And I kind of wanted to mention this one. I have one eye on something else. Oh my gosh, are they going to score? Okay, blocked. I kind of wanted to talk about this one because I could see that Newcastle have kind of got this kind of new style attack. It's not that it's completely working for them, but they have been scoring a few more goals this season than they have in previous seasons. And I think Wilson is a very strong part of that. I remember Wilson being in Bournemouth, and just before he even left for Newcastle, he was being linked with Chelsea. And I kind of more wanted to talk about a player's ambition, because I think we've had this argument before with Jamie Vardy. I think Jamie Vardy is a brilliant striker, don't get me wrong. The one thing I've always said is that could he have achieved more, done a lot more with a bigger club in terms of winning more trophies, but that's just my opinion anyway. But Callum Wilson as a striker, obviously he's been capped for England as well. And you don't, it's kind of rare sometimes to play for a team like Bournemouth and get an England cap. So if you get an England cap, it means you're doing something right. But I'll go to Rue first. What do you think of him as a striker? Because he offers a lot of pace. He's literally your. I kind of see him a bit like. How could I describe him? He's just that type of player that he's not like he's totally skillful. I don't know. Like I'm not saying he is Ian Wright, or I'm not saying he is Jermaine Defoe, but he's like that kind of traditional type of striker. A lot of pace, gets in the box. He can score goals. And he can he's got a good finish as well. But what do you think of him as a player anyway, Callum Wilson?
Yeah, I quite like him. I think I don't know how well in date my stats would be, but I remember hearing last week in the match today after the Everton game, Shelby was Newcastle's highest scorer last season with 6, and seven games in, and Callum already beaten that. I know there was a couple of penalties in there, but like that said it all about Newcastle. To be honest, they've done themselves a good bit of business. I know they give an awful lot of stick to Steve Bruce up there because he's not the kind of manager they want after having someone like Benitez in. He's gone and found a really, really good striker, got him for a good price, and I've quite enjoyed watching him because he's been able to sort of really showcase what he can do with a club like Newcastle. But he's got some good support around him as well to help him because like Ryan Fraser have actually been really, really good to have him link up with again because obviously he played at Bournemouth. So that's helped him flourish. But yeah, as an individual, I think he's not going to set the world on fire, but he's going to get it done and he's going to do whatever Steve Bruce is trying to build with Newcastle. I think obviously their main target is probably still to avoid relegation, but to find someone who can get the basics done right, a good penalty taker, a good striker all round, and give teams like this rejuvenated Everton a good go, I think that's a massive steal for Steve Bruce.
Well said. I couldn't agree more with that statement. I think it's very true. As Ruth said. What about you, Ralph? Callum Wilson, you a fan, or have you ever been a fan?
Yeah. I'm definitely a fan. From time he's been in, since I started playing Fantasy Premier League, he's been in my team. He scores goals no matter where he's at. He scores goals. And is it a good move for him to go from Bournemouth to Newcastle? 100% is. I think it's better. Why do you want to play in the Championship? It makes no sense. But I think, obviously, touching on that ambition, it all plays into. I think there's some key factors. So one of them being, will he play regardless of how many goals he's scoring? Say if you go to Chelsea, he's not playing. He's not starting. It doesn't I don't know. It's just the culture, I think, of top clubs. They would have just made him a backup, but still expect him to continue getting the amount of goals that he was getting. So I don't think it's a lack of ambition because he could. If you go to a big club now, you're just sitting on the bench. Whereas if you're at a low team, you're having to grind out games, dig in, but you're playing week in, week out, which is I think most footballers would prefer that. And there's something else what else did you lot say about him? Oh yeah, and systems as well. Will a Chelsea system suit him? Same way when you mentioned Jamie Vardy. If the team doesn't play counter-attacker football, playing balls in behind, he can't utilize his best assets. So I think Callum Wilson, I hope he does have a good season because I can see him being on form with a bit more support behind him in terms of having like a team that's structured, a bit more structured, like in midfield defensively. They can do better than Bournemouth did. He can have a better time than he did at Bournemouth in the last season. Probably, I could see Newcastle mid-table easily if Callum Wilson, and that's all down to Callum Wilson. I think he's an important player. Newcastle's definitely a good move for him.
He definitely hit the ground running. I think in his either his first or second game, he literally stepped on the pitch and got 2 goals, just like that. So again, like Ralph said, very well said again by Ralph as well. He's a goal scorer. I think that's what you need in your team. A team like Newcastle as well, on the up in the Premier League. A player like that, Callum Wilson, definitely should not be playing in the Championship. I agree with that thoroughly. Any more comments on that?
I was going to say that I like Callum Wilson as well, because I think the season before they got relegated, he did really well. I remember that season.
Didn't they finish like mid-table as well?
Yeah, I think he got like
it was. I think it's 8th or something. They finished.
Yeah, I know he got 10 plus goals and
12
and assists. He got 12 goals.
I'm pretty sure he got 12. Yeah.
12. Okay, yeah, but he did really well that season. Obviously, I'm not going to judge him on last season because Bournemouth are really, really bad. Like it's kind of harsh to pinpoint a player, but I think when the move to Newcastle happened, I was just a little bit like, because it's almost like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go to any team in the Premier League because, like Ralph was saying, like, who wants to play in the Championship? Why would you play in the Championship? But I feel like it's working out for him now. You know, eight league games, 6 goals. It's working out for him. So, because usually when players just rush to teams like that, it doesn't necessarily go well. But if he's doing his thing, you can't necessarily complain about it. So yeah, I like him as a striker. I hope he does well this season. And to be fair, I think one of the main reasons that he went to Newcastle was because of the Euros next year. Yeah, because Southgate's not picking any striker in the Championship. I'll tell you that. Even if you score 40, you're not getting picked. So yeah.
We're playing. Martinez is playing, isn't it?
Yeah.
God bless you, man.
So
God bless Martinez. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go on, Sam.
Sorry, lads.
I like him as a striker, and that's I think he'll do well this season. Seems like Newcastle's system suits him.
I agree. Again, I agree with what Simon said. And yeah, anyone who's seen Big Nigel's just popped his head through. He's joined us today. I'm gonna give him the final word on this matter. Callum Wilson, Nigel. We're obviously talking about his move to Newcastle. It being coming out of the Championship, obviously Bournemouth getting relegated, unfortunately. But him as a striker, he's literally stepped straight into the Premier League and he's been banging in goals from the off, really, from like his first or second game. And obviously we're talking about different things about ambition as well, because I mentioned earlier that before the whole Newcastle movie was linked with a team like Chelsea, and the want to kind of go to Newcastle, not that there were bids from Chelsea anyway, but it's just a question of a player like that, the ambition and like just where he could take Newcastle to this season. But are you a fan, Callum Wilson?
Yeah, I am. I'm a fan of Callum Wilson. He bags a lot of goals. The style of Bournemouth suited him a lot. I don't think the Newcastle move was good for him personally. I feel like he's I think, like you said, ambition. I think he set himself quite low. Like, don't get me wrong, Newcastle are a decent side, and they rely on having a good number 9. But I think I would have preferred him. Obviously, this is before Calvert-Lewin was slotting in goals, but I wouldn't mind him at Everton or like a middle side team. You know what I mean? Or even playing second fiddle to Harry Kane at Tottenham, because there's the pros of this season is because of the pandemic. They're going to keep rotating. So he would have got games at Tottenham. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but then I guess if like Sam just said, if he wants to go Euros, playing second fiddle to Kane, it's long for him. You know what I'm saying? So, even if he scores loads of goals, it's mad. But I don't think he'll get into the because bro, he's been slotting goals, and Southgate ain't even looked at him. Calvert-Lewin stopped scoring. He still got called up. Who else is the other striker that got called up? Who else was it? You got Rashford, you got Kane. Danny Ings is out, so you never know actually, but he still didn't get a look in. So
it's 2-0, bloods. We're finished.
Oh my days, boys.
We're finished today.
Great header from Ollie Watkins, man.
Was Ollie Watkins?
Yeah, it was Ollie Watkins, yeah.
Bro,
yeah, it was Ollie Watkins.
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't understand this team, bro.
I
don't get it.
Oh, off the line.
How can you go and beat Man United
off the line
away
I don't.
for the first time in how long? And go and lose Aston Villa. Don't get me wrong, Villa are not small boys anymore. Like they can play, but we're at home.
Bro, the performance today has been absolutely dreadful from minute one. Every single player on that pitch.
One of those seasons again. Let me not lie. We might win the Europa League, but it's like one of the long Premier League seasons.
There is nobody on this pitch that I can say can hold their heads up today. They've been freak. I think Partey got taken off for Ceballos,
Already,
why?
4 different.
He might be holding. He might have got a knock. He did get.
I don't know about you boys,
on the floor like before halftime. What's up?
But Leicester are annoying me, They just keep winning. Ever since they beat us at home, they're annoying me. Bro. They're annoying me.
It's what?
It's free. Oh, it looks like it might be.
Arsenal
days, bro. This is turned into a watch along, fam.
You think teams can win? No, them teams there will spin off, bro. They get the
Imagine if we
Champions
played Bayern Munich now. I'm glad we're not going Champions League. Are you mad?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Because I mean, it could be laughing at us. They were thinking, yeah, we forgot when we gave you man 10 on aggregate a few years back. They ain't forgotten.
Bro, it'll be 10 in one game.
I did not know Villa were this mad, you know.
Villa can play, you know. Villa can play.
They can play. Their additions this season are brilliant. Like
Remember,
Barkley and Grealish there.
for signing that.
had his cleared off the line by Ceballos.
And people are overlooking that what's his name? That Douglas guy in the middle and McGinn. McGinn is a baller.
McGinn's a baller.
McGinn is a baller.
McGinn's a baller. Sir Alex Ferguson was telling Mourinho to sign him, but
It's 3-0
you're lying.
on God.
Let me have a look. I think it's about to.
Lads, you might not even see me on WhatsApp.
This is
tonight,
peak, bro. This is
I mean,
peak.
bro, when we do rubbish, you know when we lost to Leicester, yeah? No, I put my phone away in the other room. I went to go and play with the little man. Put him to sleep. And I watched. I ain't got time, man. I ain't got time for backlash. I've been talking crud about Man United all season.
I'm telling you.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God, bro! I'm telling you, this has turned into a watch along. This is actually nuts. But anyway, let me try and zone this out. I want to find out Nigel's thoughts quickly on the other topics. I'll give him the final word on those two before we move on to the marquee matchups bit. But Nigel, what do you think happened to Danny Welbeck? Obviously, right now playing for Brighton and Hove. Previous with Arsenal, with Watford, and then with Arsenal, and then obviously Manchester United before that. But he's just a guy that, again, like we say with a lot of English boys, just never really lived up to expectations, and we say that a lot.
Do you know what? In terms of unfortunate injuries, that's Danny Welbeck in a nutshell. You can't get one ACL in one leg, come back, and then go and get an ACL in a different leg. That's mad to me. It's unfortunate because on his day, yeah, like people don't rate him, but he can ball, you know. I rated him at one point, but then it got to a point where it's like the injuries. If it's not an ACL, it's a hammy. It's this, it's that, and it's just all about conditioning his body in it. So it's unfortunate, but I reckon Brighton have got Adam Lallana and Danny Welbeck, two ex-England internationals. Are you mad? That's a bonus for them. So I'm not expecting big things from him, but just the experience alone, it's a marquee signing for Brighton, isn't it? Coming from Championship and where they are now. But it's just unfortunate, man. It's a shame because when he's going to look back at his career, he's going to think, I played for Man United, I played for Arsenal, and then it just slipped to Watford and Brighton. Thinking, what happened? But it's injuries, isn't it? It's unfortunate. That's the game.
Yeah, even if you look at the numbers as well, it doesn't even say much as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, we've shared finally on the first topic. We shared quite a few thoughts with I think we spent like half an hour talking about Lacazette actually when the stream started.
I can imagine still. I can imagine.
But what are your thoughts? The question obviously is Lacazette done at the top level, which is obviously no. But we kind of want to talk more about just what he offers to the Arsenal team at the moment. Is he the man? Is he not the man? And yeah, so just putting the top level question to the side and looking at him as a player. What do you think he offers, and what do you think he's not? Does he really cut it for Arsenal at all?
As a number 9, it's not good enough. But what he brings is the hold-up play and all of that. But when you think back at it, when we spent 53 million or whatever it was, we didn't sign him to come and hold up play. He was slotting goals in Ligue 1. You know what I'm saying? So he's not cutting it, in my opinion. Like I had this discussion with my boy a few weeks back, and I said to him, sometimes Lacazette here can show some moments of brilliance, and then sometimes you're like, when he against Liverpool, those 2 chances, like, what are you doing? Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like my boy was telling me, he's like, Nige, this is Arsenal Football Club. Do not bring yourself down to their level. Like, it's not good enough. Look at the strikers we've had in the past. Van Persie, Henry, Ian Wright. Like, we got man in that slot goals. Like, stop bringing ourselves down. Like, Lacazette ain't cutting it, man. He's not good enough. He's not good enough for Arsenal anyways. But I don't know, man. It's just one of them ones. He's just for me, he's a person that gives me so much joy. Like that goal against Wolves, the one where he spun the defender and hit it bottom bins. I'm like, bro,
he has quality.
He has that in his locker. But then there's times against Liverpool, like you don't get. It's rare someone gets 2 one-on-one chances against against Alisson, against Liverpool's back four. The first one, yeah, he was offside, but he dinks it. Second one, he hit it straight at him. It's like, what? Like, what's that all about? So it's annoying, man. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating.
Agreed. Anyway, thank you for that. That's Nigel's thoughts on the topics that we've talked about before. We didn't want him to feel like he'd been left out, just in case he had anything that he wanted to say. But now it's Ruth's time. Because he's been waiting very, very quietly. And obviously, Liverpool being his team, I wanted to give him more the time in the world to talk about the game today, which obviously I tuned in and watched as well. And the one thing I'd say before I hand over to Ruth was was it even a game of two halves? Not really. I think it was a game of two halves in the sense that the first half was great, the second half was dead as hell. So I'll hand over to Rue now and just tell us a little bit about your evaluation of the game and try and be as unbiased as possible.
I think there's one really good way of summing it up. I know I drag his name through the dirt a bit, but Martin Tyler said that if you gave someone the first half as a Christmas present, it would be the best Christmas they'd ever had. And if you gave someone the second half as a Christmas present, they'd want a refund. That was... Yeah. It was a really weird, frustrating one. I think for Liverpool to turn up at the Etihad with no Van Dijk, no Thiago, no Fabinho, I think, okay, maybe a draw is probably a good result. But I feel like Liverpool have missed a massive, massive chance because for the first 20 minutes of the game, we were both peppering each other, but we were coming out on top. You know, we were having shots on target. We were actually having touches in the opposition box. We were sort of winning that duel, and we were putting ourselves in a really, really good position to go and win it. And then for the remaining 70, everything just kind of fell away. That intensity, that aggression, that high tempo that Liverpool started with dropped, and Man City just found they were able to sort of ease their way back into this game perfectly, which was obviously a great gift for them. For Liverpool, I think that's a huge opportunity missed. Okay, we got the penalty and then we went on, but we were absolutely dominating that. And then I think Joe Gomez has been done harshly. I don't know how many of you have seen the penalty incident. I think this handball thing is, I think we can all come to agreement that it's going to happen to every team eventually. When it happens to you, it pushes you over the edge. It's getting silly. There was the Leicester Wolves game as well, same problem. And, you know, it's just got everyone fighting over what's an arm, where you put your arm, or, you know, we meant to start defending like we've got handcuffs on behind our back or what. It's getting so daft. But for De Bruyne to miss the penalty the way he did, that was criminal.
Someone said De Bruyne tried to cross the pen.
So, funnily enough, that was the first time in Premier League that someone has completely missed the goal since Man City v Liverpool in 2018.
Yeah. Crazy. That was Riyad Mahrez, isn't it?
Riyad Mahrez would have binned it into the...
Do you know what? I feel like Kevin De Bruyne just doubted the whole game from the start, because even his pre-match interview, he was saying, this game feels different to the previous Man City Liverpool games. He was like, not to say that he wasn't up for it, but he just said it wasn't like those contests they used to have back in the day. So it's almost like he was already doubting the game anyways. So when you go into a game with doubt, things are going to go wrong for sure. People are even now starting to doubt KDB, saying I'm not saying that he's finished or he's on the decline. I don't think he is, but yeah, people are just not rating the thing.
He wasn't on his best game at all. It's very, very difficult with our system, because with the four at the back and the two midfields that we played for Liverpool today, he was really sort of struggling in the first 20 minutes. But then when he was able to find his space and get back into the game, even when we gave him a perfect chance to sort of find a way to sort of turn everything on its head, he sort of didn't seem to do much. And him saying this doesn't feel like previous ones. Well, we turned up to the last one drunk and lost 4-0 celebrating. And then the last one was a really tight 0-0 with all the fans. What was it? No, it wasn't.
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's just, I think he's shown a bit of inconsistency in the past, but I think for people to sort of be like turning their head and looking for a new option compared to De Bruyne, I think that's ridiculous. A man's just won a year. That everyone has a bad day at the office. All right, there's no way that you can say that De Bruyne is letting City down. Look at Sterling. don't know how many of you saw Sterling today, but I'm getting really sick of the man.
Yeah, he was poor today. He was actually poor.
Yeah.
But he never really plays good against Liverpool, to be honest with you.
He'll play good. To be
Still
honest,
got allegiances back there at Melwood, man. Nah, joke, I take that back. That's my guy. That's my guy. That's my guy. Take that back.
I'm fully.
We've let a really good position slip, and now I've got to spend the rest of the international break dwelling on what could have been. It's hurting.
I think at this rate we're all going to be dwelling. I was literally just going to ask. Do you still think
we were? You've only got to go into an international break thinking about 3. We've got to think about 7 that we got put past us.
No one cares about that 7-2. We're losing 3-0 at home to Aston.
Boys, one problem at a time. One problem at a time.
We did better than Liverpool.
Aston Villa are just literally just getting all these big teams and just slapping them up and then can't win against Leeds. Anyway. It's frustrating to see, man.
You know, our Premier League champions. You've won the Champions League in the past 2 seasons. We've won FA Cups, bro. 4-1 in the Europa League final. This is a consistent thing with Arsenal. So when we're losing at home to Aston Villa 3-0, it's a big thing, fam.
They don't know the pain. Liverpool fans, you don't pretend you know, but you don't know. I was literally about to ask Nigel actually quickly. I was going to ask Nigel quickly. Do you still think that title race is between Liverpool and City, or is it like at this point you got Southampton in and around the top, Spurs are in and around the top,
Spurs are top of the table,
Leicester are in and around the top, and like the rest of us are just chilling down in mid-table to bottom. So at this point,
stress.
Mid-table's lit like bottom set at school, bro.
It's just play, bro.
Just vibes.
Oh man!
You tell Spurs to win the league. God,
they could. They've been.
If Spurs win the league, I will never in my life watch a Premier League game ever again. I promise you.
No, word. That can't happen, man. Not in my lifetime, anyways. Not in my lifetime.
I don't want to see it.
As Felix always says this, can Jose Mourinho do the impossible and hand Tottenham Hotspur?
That's the thing. Jose Mourinho has won a trophy at every club he's played in. And now you come to a club that are bantered for not winning trophies.
He can win a trophy, but not a Prem. He can win. Let him win FA Cup, Carling Cup, whatever.
No, not Prem.
As an Arsenal fan, I don't want to see Tottenham lift anything.
Seriously, I've got to be realistic. But they will. They can win
their Audi Cups every year, but not
the. Back to your question, Kirk. I genuinely feel it's Man City, Liverpool. When it's crunch time, the cream always rises to the top, innit? All this Leicester and Tottenham, I'm not buying into the hype because a few weeks ago we were talking about Everton.
Have the squad and the depth to beat. Like,
bro, they've been there. They've been doing that. They've always had a decent squad. It's just never had depth. They've just never had depth. But now, obviously, they've got a winning mentality of a manager.
Mourinho's season at Chelsea, when the first half of the season, when they won the Prem, the first half of the season, they were just out on all cylinders, banging. Then as soon as it hit Christmas, he was just like, just defend, just do not concede, and they won the league like that. I wonder if he can fix up the tactics. What he can do with that Tottenham. Well, I don't want to see what he can do.
There's no way Spurs can just defend with Sanchez playing in the back.
Yeah, I was just about to say Spurs is back for shaky, bro. No, Spurs is back for shaky.
Listen, put 5 at the back.
You got man like Serge Aurier. Got man like Serge Aurier. He's always got a penalty in him.
No African football slander here.
Sorry. I take it back still.
No, he's not gonna. He's got a point. No, but the thing is, like, this is the thing that hurts me the most about Spurs' win today, because we always say it every year that a team that can find a way to win when it looks like they're not playing well have champion material. That's basically champion material, when you can grind out a victory and win a game when you're not playing well. Because I watched the Spurs game earlier today, and I could honestly say that's probably the worst I've seen them play since the beginning of the season. They were terrible. Nothing was working. The passes weren't working. They literally looked so one-dimensional. They kept taking the ball to the right-hand side and trying crosses. Just nothing was working for him. And lo and behold, in a moment of weakness and in a moment of madness, West Brom, who I kind of rate in terms of like the bottom of the table teams anyway. I actually think they're actually pretty entertaining to watch, West Brom. The way Slavan Bilic has them playing, but a moment of complete, they just lost focus, and the goalkeeper became indecisive, didn't know whether to come or go, and then all of a sudden Kane's putting the ball in the back of the net. We've said the same thing about Liverpool last year, who when it was coming towards Christmas time, they started grinding 2-1s, 1-0s, trying to basically get every game. Like they were thinking about it game by game, just get every game over the line, We're creeping up towards the Christmas season. Even City the year before, they were grinding 1-0s. Chelsea, I remember a few seasons ago when they won it, they were doing the exact same thing, grinding 1-0s. And we're always talking about how a team that have, and this pains me to say, don't think I'm saying this with the most humble heart. This is the most painful thing I have to say, but at this present moment in time, I can't lie. We have to think about Tottenham as title contenders.
For now, bro.
Look at the silence. Look at the silence.
For now. Yeah. Leicester, Tottenham. Yeah.
From now, innit? Let me just tell you, not from now. There's no player in our team that has won the league with Arsenal, innit? Last time Arsenal won the league was 2004. If Spurs win the league, it's an L.
Massive.
Of course. Of course it's an L.
Big L.
Do you think it's worse? Okay, which one was worse? If they had won the Champions League last year or winning the league this year?
Oh, God forbid. Champs.
Above.
Because at least we've won the Prem. We ain't won the champs yet. So it's bad enough Chelsea's already the first team in London to win the Champions League. For then now Spurs to be the first team in North London. It's done.
I think that one would have been even more painful because of the way we lost the Europa League final as well.
Yeah.
But
I've never watched the Europa League game like for 4 minutes.
For real.
Even
real
the final,
talk.
I didn't even turn it on. Like, why?
Yeah.
The coverage is just a bit.
Guys, I've got a genuine question.
From the days Europa League was on Channel 5, I was not watching it.
Oh yeah,
Europa League.
When Spurs were Man City was in it back then.
There's some days of Spurs.
Yeah, I remember that.
Who's that guy that banged that goal, top bins from the left-hand side? Was it Serge Aurier? I don't know. It was against Tottenham, I think.
Oh, against Tottenham.
Yeah, I've been there about Europa League, and I fully said place is not for me. My soul does not sit well watching that kind of football there.
I remember channel. I was going to say I've got a question for you lot, because there's actually something that me and Felix were talking about earlier today. Would you, let's say if you've got like an XI now, Premier League XI, and you're doing your team, would you put Trent Alexander-Arnold as the best right back in the league?
Yes.
Not defending wise.
No, let's think about it. Best right back in the league. So that means defending. It means attacking. It means everything. For me,
complete right back.
You have to defend. You have to know how to defend.
Well, it's the first things first. You got to defend before you go and attack.
The only thing consistent about Alexander-Arnold is his crosses. That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't like when people gat it up. Like,
I can't lie to you. He's causing problems in his personal life. He's doing a bit of a Mazzoline, yeah. Wan-Bissaka is the best 1v1 defender I have ever seen. He is wavy. But if he just stops moving around, because he plays like a... What's the example? When he's in the final third, he plays like a spider. Like his legs all over the place.
It's true. Defensively, he is the best defensive fullback in the league.
But right back, I don't know, it has to be
Kyle Walker for me. Kyle Walker for me would be the number one right back. Kyle Walker for me. Me personally,
that guy is a truck with no brakes.
Do you know what? It's a bit early, but I say Reece James. He's the complete right back for me.
João Cancelo is good.
Yeah, Cancelo's good as well.
And he did actually play in football. Don't even bring his name into this conversation. He was absolutely gone.
Who's that?
Cancelo.
Cancelo.
Oh,
Man spent more time on the team than doing anything useful.
I genuinely can't believe what I'm seeing on this TV screen. I honestly, like, this is actually nuts to me. 3-0.
I was saying my team make me sick.
You reckon it's nuts? You reckon it's crazy? Yeah, I think that's normal.
Bro,
I can't believe I support a mid-table team. That's
guys. I can't lie to you. I'm looking to bring up Arsenal, but I'm tired, man. I had so much hope with Mikel and everything's gonna work. I know it's early. And
we need to calm down, man. Arsenal fans need to calm down, man. Look, we got the FA Cup in its first 6 months, and now we want more. We're like, we're like crackheads, bro.
Well, wanting to beat Villa does not count as more, man.
I'm not asking for the league. I'm just asking to do well in the league. That's all I'm asking.
No,
Do
it's
well.
like, this is, but then that's what we're seeing. This Klopp in his first season finished 8th. This is his first full season. Let's be patient. It's frustrating though, huh?
Can we bring up that Liverpool lineup from that year, bro? On paper, we've got classy players in our team.
It's true. It's true.
Wait,
it's
did
true.
they have Mane?
Not the 8th place
No. Mane was his first signing, I think. Yeah, they had Firmino already. Salah only came like 2-3 seasons ago.
So and Lacazette, so that's like for like.
So they had Mane. They bought Mane. They bought Wijnaldum. Lallana was already there under Rodgers.
Yeah.
Who else was there? They had, I think, Matip was also his signing as well.
That's not first.
Oh, we're 11th. That's a Mazzoline.
Say that again?
No, I was gonna get up his team. He had Origi up top, Lallana on the left, Coutinho in the middle, Milner on the right, Emmerich Can, Lucas, Moreno, Klein, and Mignolet. Oh my god!
Okay, you know what? The back four is terrible, but
the back four is bad. But going forward, that's not a terrible line.
It's not the worst. But then, look, for me,
he's been there that long.
It's not so much the lineup that I'm going about. It's about the system and getting the players to play in that system. Yeah, fair enough. We've got players now that are quality, but are they fitting into how Arteta wants to play? We had the Lacazette discussion earlier. It's frustrating for me. I'm just like, look, as hard as it is and as tough as it is, we just need to relax, man. Just give this guy, give him a bit of time at least,
bro. But bro,
I haven't been in the job for a year.
Bro, I was talking crud after we won the FA Cup.
Oh yeah. So was I.
It's coming back at me now, man. Them are messaging me, bro.
We won that. I thought we were gonna bust it.
Bro, I was talking crud. I was like, what? New season, yeah, let's go.
Now everyone has that. Everyone has 2 weeks now to reevaluate everything you said, everything that you were talking about, and bring yourself back down to earth, because this is another level. But I'm not. I don't know. I think it's not. It hurts, yeah, but I don't know why. It's just like whatever, man.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we're in crisis, but. Like this league, like this season especially.
This season has been bad.
There's gonna be ups and downs.
I'm just shocked with Villa, bro, with what they were able to do with Liverpool, and literally in 45 minutes of football, have ripped us to shreds.
I don't even think it was
because in the first half they were good, but we had our chances. But in the second half, they just
bro. Every single time I looked, like I kept looking over here. Every time I looked here and looked back, they were attacking.
Mm-hmm. Bro, but all honesty though, last season. Aston Villa actually played ball. They just couldn't slot their chances. That's the reason why they were in the bottom half. They've got a striker like Ollie Watkins, and they've got Ross Barkley. Bro, they can play, man.
But
they can
play.
play.
I want to ask you lot, do you guys think we now need to start having a conversation about so-called mid-team tables competing again? Because this is kind of what you want. Realistically, you want the Premier League entertaining.
This is why it's regarded as the best in the world. You don't always want there's two teams just challenging for the league every year. This year, I feel like in a long time, you actually don't know who's going to win it.
Yeah,
because normally last season by Christmas time, Liverpool had pretty much wrapped up.
They had already cleaned up.
To look like title contenders already.
Because how long does a table team have to do well for before we start considering them as like a proper team? Like, there's teams that you're playing, you'll be like, it's almost a guaranteed win. But how long does a team have to be good for before you start taking them seriously? Like now, I feel like we should be taking teams like Leicester seriously. Like I'm not trying to go.
Oh man,
Do you know what I mean? And thinking that we're going to get some easy win because it don't work like that. Do you see what I'm saying? I feel like the teams is evolving again. I think we're coming into a new era of Premier League football.
I think Leicester and Wolves are the teams that can trouble that top six. Well, Leicester were in the top six last season. What am I talking about? But yeah, if you know what I mean, that bracket of top six, Leicester, Wolves, and probably put Everton in there as well.
You would think Everton, yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. The traditional sort of top four, like the big four, big six, is no more, man.
It doesn't
This
exist.
season,
Now
I
we
feel like
just have
we'll
a
see a
league.
completely different. We'll see a completely different lineup.
It was never a big six until recently.
Yeah, for real.
That's what
It was always
Usually
the top,
top
like
four,
top
yeah.
four, like
now
the
they're
big
going to
four.
try and say a Big Ten.
And then you need to remember there's teams like Palace as well that they can pepper you on a counter away from home as well.
On a good day, they'll finish you, man.
Yeah.
He scores in bunches. I won't be surprised if he gets a call up soon. Watkins. He'll get a call up soon, man. Yeah, he gets a call up.
Did you hear what he said though? Did you man hear what he said? He said he grew up supporting Arsenal. His star player was Thierry Henry, and he was like it's always his dream to play for Arsenal, innit? So I was like, I got a soft spot for the Don. I got a soft spot for the Don.
I don't want to have another conversation about this club.
You know what? When I think about it, yeah, like as a youngster, you know, I enjoyed football because my team was doing bits. As an adult, I've just been stressed. I've stopped. I've come back. I've gone again. I've come back.
Hey, shout out my guys on Stoppage Time TV. Yeah, they were talking about that football's not fun anymore. Like think back to 10 years ago. Think back to 10 years ago. Like I don't know, 09 season, 2010, 2011. Football was amazing. I would come into school and the first thing I'm going on is BBC Sport, Sky Sports. Like for me now, if I miss a game, I'm not too fussed about it.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't even want.
I think like that. Because me 10 years ago, I didn't dare look at BBC Sport because we were in the dirt, we really went administration, and now I'm living an absolute dream. Like
it's probably different for everybody, but the funny thing is, I was thinking about the exact same thing the other day because I was watching some of the Premier League moments on YouTube. And I saw the Man United goal where, I don't know if you lot remember when Berbatov did that Berber spin for the first time where he went to the byline, turned in. And I'm seeing him lay the ball across the flipping Cristiano Ronaldo in the box. I was like, so the Premier League was that lit. It was lit like that. Like, I'm seeing
you know that Man United team was nuts. They had Tevez,
Berber, even I wanted to
and Ronaldo.
Skinhead Rooney.
Skinhead Rooney was a different player.
Skinhead Rooney was a dangerous player, man.
I genuinely did not like Man United at that time.
Like it's getting to the point where like I just miss that era so much. I'm even missing like people like Sidwell and that. Like that's just
bro, you know that's why I always enjoy watching Premier League years. I always love sitting and watching that. I remember this, I remember that. I love it, man, because it reminds me of my childhood, bro. It reminds me, man.
But anyway, guys, this podcast has completely derailed, but just like Arsenal, the podcast has derailed. Well, no, we got the topic. So you were on point to the end. I think everyone just got a bit emotional about everything, which is fair, man. Honestly, like, I guess. I hope
I had something.
No,
you know what it is? Out is going to be trending soon.
Nah, man.
I put it in my drafts.
No, man. Allow Arteta, man. Allow Arteta.
I'm the one that's saying that you should give time. Well, Ozil's trending, so you know what that's going to be about.
Bro, Ozil would not have made any difference in this team today. There would have been nothing that he would have added to the team that would have made a difference.
Thomas Partey, man.
I don't think anybody. Now, I'll be honest with you. There wasn't like I'm not even going to get at Nketiah. I'm not going to get at nobody. Everyone sucked.
And then cutting inside. No way.
Everybody was poor. Every single player on that pitch today was poor, from goalkeeper all the way up to Lacazette to Aubameyang to everybody was below 3. Everyone out of 10 below 3. But quickly before we sign off, one of the things I was actually going to say is one thing that I've been thinking about was that we could do at some point soon, just like an open forum where we discuss very much like we've just talked about everything to do with Premier League, just topics, not so much set topics, but we'll sort of like have a forum where we'll just come together and just talk about football, talk about Premier League, talk about just different things to do with football, whether it's stupid VAR decisions or anything like that. Like, I can't believe now people are actually sitting behind the computer and checking whether someone's sleeve is over a line. Like, I honestly just can't believe that that's even a
in the
thing now.
stadium.
I can't believe that. I keep saying like I actually need to pop into Stockley Park and sit these lot down and be like, listen, and just have a little pep talk with them and just tell them that it's not on. What they're doing is it's not, just have them all in one room and just sit them all down and just tell them that it's not on, because it's ridiculous. But that's all in the pipeline. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. There's actually been like the number of people that have been jumping on, like it's been fluctuating. But there was probably the highest number we've had on the podcast today, generally creeping over into the 20s and stuff. So thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back again, as we always say, every Sunday. We try to bring you guys this content. Again, if you have anything that you want to say, anything that in particular that you want us to talk about, or that you want to voice your opinion on in the comment section, just let us know. In particular, what kind of topics, because we're always looking for new and interesting topics to discuss. We're all very emotional right now, but we're just gonna have to hold this in our chest for the next 2 weeks. As we say every week, though, for all the latest that's going on in African footballers from all around the world, head over to @RevealFooty on both Instagram and on Twitter as well. There's literally fresh stuff being posted on there every single day. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I've posted a lot of the topics that we're going to talk about on there as well. For YouTube, just type in @RevealFooty into your search bar. You should see us. There's previous episodes that you can go back and check out. So do all of that for us, and we'll be extremely grateful. Again, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be extremely grateful. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you guys as well, to my 5 brothers on the platform, for joining us today. And we'll see you all next week for another episode. Thank you.
Peace.